Getting in another last minute analysis for you guys. This one is another overlooked prospect by the media and the draft experts. A guy who has won some awards as a lineman and was named College Football Network's Lineman of the Year. A guy who helped lead the best rushing offense in the nation last year. Yet, we don't hear a thing about him in the media. Today, I present to you Lucas Scott, a 6'3", 305-pound offensive lineman from Army West Point, who has built his collegiate resume on versatility, grit, and consistency. Transitioning from right guard to right tackle during his senior season, Scott helped anchor a dominant offensive line that powered the nation's top rushing offense that averaged 314 yards per game and earned the prestigious Joe Moore Award. His ability to switch positions and maintain elite-level performance earned him second-team All-American honors and put him squarely on NFL radars. But what makes Scott's profile especially intriguing is the rare blend of experiences and traits that allows him to be one of my favorite targets for the New England Patriots in the 2025 NFL Draft. This guy has a very non-traditional profile that could make him a perfect draft prospect for the Patriots. And I really mean it. From his high school days as a bruising fullback to his multi-position reps at Pro Day, including doing some snaps at center, did some guard, tackle, and even H-back, Scott offers the type of positional flexibility and football IQ that makes him a unique developmental asset that could allow him to make it on the 53 roster this year. I mean, this guy is a solid athlete. As Pro Day results, 40-yard dash, 5.12, 10-yard split, 174, 30 reps on the bench, nearly 30-inch vert, 8.6 broad, shuttle 4.6, 3-cone 7.7. Now, based on this result, I mean, he's probably grading out high 8s, low 9s for guard and tackle. But in general, the numbers reflect an ideal combination of strength, explosiveness, lateral quickness. It's a fairly solid profile for a player with his tape. When you watch him, I mean, run blocking dominance. And like I said, obviously being on the Army West Point offensive line, they led the country in rushing. And he consistently created displacement at the point of attack and showed textbook pad level, hand timing, and leverage control. His experience in a run-heavy system bodes well for him to be in the McDaniels offense. Now, pass pro. Now, while Army is not a pass-first program, Scott stood out in limited reps, contributing to a unit that allowed just 6 sacks all season long. Good for the second in the nation, actually. And his anchor strength, foot balance, and awareness of stunts and twists made him reliable in one-on-one situations. And I must bring this one up again, versatility. With game reps at different offensive line positions, and again, the high school reps as a lead blocker and a big ball carrier, Scott's positional fluidity is one of his greatest assets. Another thing that shows up on his tape, football IQ. You can see that Scott consistently executes complex blocking assignments without mental busts. Now, why I'm so intrigued with him? Well, it's the positional flexibility, because you're going to need a few of those guys on your roster. And finding offensive linemen that have positional flexibility is huge to have on a roster because somebody's going to get an injury. There's probably going to be several concussions at some point along the year, and who knows what's going to overlap, and someone's got to move here to there. Having a guy who can play potentially all the interior offensive line positions and maybe some other positions is valuable. So you don't have to carry 2 or 3 extra guys as depth pieces. And again, at Army's Pro Day, this versatility was on full display. Scott worked out not only as a guard and tackle, but took reps at center and H-back, which obviously drew some attention, including, you ready? The Patriots and the Giants. Make note of that. While currently built like a prototypical interior offensive lineman, Scott could transform into a potential NFL fullback / hybrid H-back due to his high school background and athletic profile. I'm not saying that's what they're going to convert him to. It's possible that Scott is that fullback that a lot of people are trying to identify in this upcoming draft. And the Patriots might want to experiment him in this role. Now, him being 300 pounds, yeah, maybe he is just a jumbo fullback, but if they feel like he's got some potential as not just a jumbo fullback, now some weight reduction could open exciting new dimensions to his game. And perhaps I shouldn't say new dimensions to his game, but let me explain that in a minute. Now, weight loss at 309, I mean, he ran 5.12. That's solid for a dude, over 300 pounds. But you get down to like maybe 270, that should drop down to like maybe mid 4.7s to maybe 4.8, which I think that's doable. 270 pounds running like, let's just say 4.8. That's good enough for me, which would put him kind of in the realm for a lot of fullbacks, especially at that weight. And I'm sure he can probably do it. He can cut down to that and harden up. I mean, he was 245 pounds as a running back in high school, and he went from 245 to 300, so I imagine he could harden up to like 260, 275 without really compromising his strength too much, which could allow him to also pack it back on if he needs to play on the interior in the coming years. So I think there's definitely several different roles that he could possibly play on the Patriots offense. Now, he could just play, obviously, interior offensive lineman as a guard or a center, but maybe they just bring him as like a jumbo inline tight end, or there's some sort of H-back hybrid, offset tight end in a 12 or 13 personnel, like basically a stronger Ben Mason, or maybe a wham blocker, comes in for the formation with violence, just kind of that mini pulling guard. That's an interesting idea. Slide protection and play action, that's another thing. He can, he's stout enough to protect the backside and versatile enough to release as a dump off option if need be. He's also probably going to be a special teams monster. Do punt protector, kickoff, return blocker, field goal unit. That's obvious. You can plug him right in there. And considering at that weight, he'd be elite in all three units. And possibly a short yardage fake option on punt formations. That's another thing you could possibly do. Remember how the Saints used Zach Line in some sneaky ways? I think that could be Scott. There's obviously also gadget usage. And if he lines up like at the H-back and pulls on a counter or like a GY power, and he brings an offensive line level blocking into space, watch out, right? And you can motion the backfield, shift back to tight end or like a wing. This would force the defense to reveal their coverage pre-snap. It's very interesting. Now, with this unique background, Scott could be following the footsteps of some other hybrid role players that molded into a full-time fullback, like Jakob Johnson, but possibly with even more physical ability and that line-first demeanor. And he can also serve as a valuable game day activation, filling multiple roles without costing a roster spot. Now, the crazy scenario, which is unlikely, but he's already done this, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Power fullback. And I mean, kind of an all-stop mode, which you're probably like, no way. Well, yes, he's done it. And you can probably use them in short yardage and goal line situations, like third and fourth downs. In one situations, everybody wants tush push. Well, I've got you, Scott. You can also run them on ISO and dual runs, lead blocker with violent finishing, but also ball carrier on fullback traps or like kind of belly plays. I know that seems antiquated, but everything's cyclical, and this guy does carry the ball. Toss lead and like power O. Yeah, I'm throwing some stuff back from the olden days. But hey, he can kick out an edge defender and create a second gap by just flattening a force player. And you're probably wondering where I'm getting this from. Well, I must point out, Scott was a big pounding fullback in high school at Chenango Forks, which I know a lot of you are probably not going to know this, but it's a small Class B school outside Binghamton, New York. And yeah, everybody's used to New England football, but on the national stage, Chenango Forks is a legendary football program. Top football programs in the Northeast. They've historically run the triple option and has basically won the state championship for that class size more years than not. And although the QB and the halfback have their place in that system, at Chenango Forks, the fullback is typically the heart of that offense, just blasting up the middle and grinding defenses down. Now, my point is, you're not finding too many college football players of his size that has his background to potentially unlock a whole new chapter in the Josh McDaniels playbook. And of course, this is probably the more crazier version of it. But that hopefully makes you realize how simplistic it would be for him just to be a decent fullback, a jumbo fullback. And of course, probably the most logical option is just have the kid play and be a great interior offensive lineman. I mean, he was a top-tier lineman in the country and an All-American at right tackle in the best rushing offense in the nation. So while Lucas Scott may not be a headline day 1 or day 2 guy in the draft, he represents a kind of a smart, versatile prospect that would thrive in the Josh McDaniels environment. He's tailor-made for unlocking that downhill rushing scheme and can be moved around as needed. I mean, if you want to upgrade your offense's ability to play smash-mouth football, how about this? An All-American lineman who helped generate the best rushing offense in the nation from Army West Point and played fullback at Chenango Forks. I mean, yeah, that's basically kind of like doing the custom player build in Madden. I mean, it's literally the perfect profile to help produce a punishing offense. And obviously being, Army West Point should be a great locker room culture guy. I mean, you're looking at a guy that you would say is a top-tier football juggernaut. I think it's time for the Patriots to go get him. Anyway, what do you guys think of Lucas? Do you think the Patriots should go after him? If so, when? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.